All right, what's going on, my good people? Welcome. We're going to have a good conversation this evening. I have a special guest, and I think my special guest has just arrived. This conversation actually spawned out of community request on asking about friendship. So came on, I think, was it last week? Last week or week before last, I did a live about friendship and what we are exactly going to talk about. I'm gonna give credit and space to the wise mind that said it, and they are going to come on here in one moment here. I know I'm gonna get excited too. Awesome. Awesome. We got Coach D coming through. Oh, oh my gosh. Give
I'm,
it love. How you doing, friend?
I'm stirring my tea, and this is not
Look,
like playing. This how I
this
live.
this is what we call authenticity.
You're
Okay.
right.
So folks, if you need to grab your tea, go
Sure.
ahead and grab your tea, your snack. I just finished eating dinner because I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to focus if my stomach is all
You're right. Gotcha. And same
ground. What
tea.
what kind of tea are you? What kind of
This
tea you
is
got?
actually some chocolate mint tea, and it's relaxing tea. It's soothing
Okay.
tea. So yeah, I have some tea that is, just pizzazz. This tea is serenity. Uh-huh.
Okay, that's you got me at the chocolate mint because it's around the fall time, folks. If you are tea people, go ahead and drop it in the comments or
Yeah.
after. I tend to get the Starbucks. What is called it's called the medicine ball. So I usually get that. It's a nice little tea that just keep your throat clear, keep it nice. Awesome. Hold on here. I think my camera, Coach D, you still there with me? Coach D. Okay, let me see if she's accepted again. Ooh, okay, I think I hit accept.
Back.
Okay,
Yes.
you back. Okay, look. All right.
There.
Good energy. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into it, friends. I have invited a special guest. Look, we ready for this conversation. A special guest, Coach D. Nicole. She wears many hats: pastor, life coach, business coach, and has become a friend from afar through another friend. Which we're going to talk about this beautiful friend that we share, and this topic about friendship. But I wouldn't be doing any justice into all the things that you do. So, Coach D, I know you're sipping on your tea there, but can you tell the people how do you serve the world? How do you serve the world?
Sure, yes. So, hello, people. Welcome, welcome. I'm excited to be here. I really, if I could sum it up, I want people to live really their best life, but not just their good life. I want people to live a life that they can monetize, actually. So, I want us to be profitable and prosperous in our lives. And I say monetize because I believe that money is a means to an end. So, for those of us who even serve community goals, it takes funds, right? It takes capital.
Mm,
Sometimes that capital is human capital. So, in the various hats that I wear, it's really the sowing and the reaping, right? So, I do that, like I said, as a pastor, I do that as a life coach. And I think one of the most favorite things that I do is mentor individuals, mostly young ladies, many same sex loving individuals. And I say that because it helps me as a pastor. It helps my theology. It helps me work out some things we work about together. And it makes me actually probably more liberal than some of the people whom I inspire and walk with. So I am honored really for the opportunity to walk alongside individuals, whether that be in life, lifestyle, ministry, or business. I'm here for it, honey. I'm here for it.
oh
So
my goodness. Coach D, thank you. And thank you for being an ally to our community. I know when we speak about friendship, and that's what it's about, right? Is, sharing perspective, sharing wisdom. especially within our community, monetizing,
Sure.
learning how to we share our purpose and share our gifts, but also, amongst sharing our purpose and our gifts is making sure that we have a close circle, people in our lives that support us, that's going to pour into us. And it's uniquely this thing about friendship, right? We got business partnerships. Y'all contact Coach D if you need help with the business part. But today we want to focus on friendships. And um, a person in the community had reached out to me and say, hey, I'm finding my friendships are, falling apart and they're becoming distant, just wanted to get your insight, as in you shared this gem with me of friending up and friending out.
Mm-hmm.
And my dear friend Alexis, they said, okay, what do they mean by that? And what is your interpretation? So I just want to take it a step back and just actually um, share a little bit about our friend Alexis. Was here, and Coach D, I know I want to give you some space to share about her as well. She's still here in present with us. I got a little altar over here with her
Yeah.
stuff. With her stuff.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing friend that I've become friends with maybe about 5 years now. And we both love the mental health space, therapy. And my good friend came down here for a spring break, and we did all the things, going to eat food, fried chicken, things that we ain't supposed to be eating. And we had one of these events where we went to like a spiritual meditation kind of class, and we're each sharing our gratitude and our intention. And what I shared at that time was wanting my friend to have a spiritual and grounding experience
Mm-hmm.
before they go home. And just days later, unfortunately, my friend not went only to her earthly home, but her heavenly home. She had transitioned.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a tough time, very, very, very tough time. She's loved by many, and she was a connector.
Yes.
And during our time, she talked about this whole concept about friending up and friending out. And she said, yeah, I'm working with a life coach. That's what, and that's how we got into connecting with Coach D. So Coach D, I'll share a little bit about, I want to just create space and honor for Alexis, the friendship around that, and then also just allow the conversation to flow from there.
Sure, sure. So I met Alexis. I met Alexis's dust before I met.
This. So we shared a lot of space together, and we knew a lot of mutual people, but we had never made any personal acquaintance with one another. And so we probably knew of each other well before we knew each other personally and had some time that was just our time and a relationship that was just our relationship. But I met Alexis's desk because there was a retreat I always wanted to go to, and I couldn't go to for financial reasons. And I remember my first time going, I was so excited and I was getting lost, or in my mind, at least I was getting lost. But I said, whomever this car is ahead of me, they look like they know what they're doing. Honey, she was rolling. I tell
Oh,
you, she was rolling. And so kicking up dust because it's a dirt road. So we're going in the middle of nowhere. Your GPS doesn't work, but you said Alexis was a connector.
yes.
So I stayed connected with Alexis, honey. And as she was bending these turns, honey, I had to be bending too. So I think outside of just being a connector, she was really like a trendsetter, a pace setter just as well. And that's really how I kind of met her. So once she got out of the car and we all, we parked, I'm brushing the dust off my windshield and everything. And I'm like, hey, it's you, Alexa. She's like, hey, it's you, Nicole. And we then made acquaintance. But I tell you, as we got on our own journey of friendship, we openly said, hey, I wished I was your friend earlier, but we had a
Mm.
mutual friend who it would have been probably awkward for us to be friends as we were friends with this kind of fell out of the way. I was able to connect with Alexis, and Alexis's friendship for me was so satisfying. It, it really was, because I probably, whatever I gave to Alexis was probably
Exactly what she gave to me. And I'm, thinking in hindsight now, Alexis gave me a person who did not need me. When you're a
Mm.
well gifted person and you're well able, you find that people kind of come in and are drawn in for your gifting. And I don't say that as a bad thing, but when you find someone who has their own gifts, who can pour back into you, I just appreciated that from Alexis. So we enjoyed that. We didn't need each other. We desired each other. And that was a great healing space,
comfortable space. So she knew that she could always be 100 with me, you know. So she would tell me things she hadn't yet told other people. And it was just really good in that way because I could truly be a sister. I could truly be, you know, an accompaniment on her journey and not, you know, life coach or mentor or business coach. So those things developed, but it definitely developed from the foundation of good friendship.
Oh my goodness. There were so many pieces that you mentioned in there, and that's what it was. Because you know, sometimes when you have friends or peers in a space, and then you're like, okay, hey, we want to transition to friendships. I love the fact that you all friendship wasn't based in a need. Like it wasn't like I need you. It was like, no, shoot, I just want to, because you are dope people.
There you go.
You are. I just feel a good energy with you
Right.
that I want to be part with you.
Yeah.
And you could tell she took your words to heart. So this whole friending up and friending out, and I may be saying it not, you know, it's not exactly paraphrasing it, but please, can you talk to the people as to what did you mean about that? Because that's the thing. They're like, what is this friending up and friending out? I've tried to have my own little interpretation, but I want to hear from you. What did that mean for you, and how did you come to that?
Oh, sure. So I came to this understanding, and it comes up in so many different conversations, not explicitly named, but I find that as we come to the spaces in our life where we need to heal or we're going on healing journeys, then it does require us to go up, to stretch ourselves or to challenge ourselves or to expand, to go outside of those things that are our comfort zone. And comfort zones end up becoming crutches, right? And if you hold on to something, they,
So good.
I mean,
So good.
so think about a person in a season of brokenness, right? You had an injury.
Mhm.
If you stay on the crutch for too long, it becomes its own injury, right? So I find that as we're going through the process of, again, of healing, then to go up means I need to find people who are challenging me, not just the friends I met and stayed with for a particular season that I hung on to forever. Now, I'm a little edgy in what I think friendship should be. Some of you feel like you should be friends for a lifetime. I don't know about that. You understand? I don't know. And I'm not the one to tell you. I do have lifetime friends, right? So it's
Mhm.
not to say that I don't have lifetime friends. I absolutely do. But those people become like sisters and so on and so forth, brothers. I just don't believe we should stay in places that are crutches for us. So it means, again, to reach up and be challenged by people who not accommodate you where you were, but people who accommodate you where you need to be. And that, again, is the challenge upward or an expansion outward.
I mean, I think the mic drop about that is sometimes you could get so comfortable, as you
Sure.
mentioned, that becomes your crutch, and making sure that we are having friends that are taking us up. So I know you have, like you said, you have some um, different ways of thinking about friendship. So for
Sure.
many of us that are in this spot, and that's a unique thing, because I was hearing, like, my friends and I, we were discussing our friendship.
Mhm.
And then I've been hearing from other people, like, you know, I'm in a weird season of my friendships are falling apart, and I don't want to let this person go. So I just realized God is in this. The universal is helping, testing us as to, are
Sure.
these friendships growing? So the question to you is, well, what about the people that feel like right now I should let a friendship go? And I'm like, I'll let you go from there.
I'm ready.
I look, go from there. Look, because
I'm
some of us is like, I think I need you to go. So what's
ready
your
to do
thoughts on
it.
that?
Honey, do it. Honey, do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my answer. Why? Because before something manifests in the physical, no, we already get clues. We already get the spiritual breadcrumbs. You dreamed a dream. You thought your thoughts. But then when it comes, like when, the pedal has to get to the metal and you need to kick
Mm-hmm.
up some dust, we get nervous, right? And so we kind of want to hang on because it's comfortable, it's familiar. we have become codependent in ways. And I'm not saying codependency is a bad thing, but you in your occupation, me in my occupation, codependency is bad. You know what
Honey,
I mean?
we don't need it. We're trying to get people out of it.
Sure. Sure. So I am simply saying that by the time we have those aha moments that we are conscious of, we've already had subconscious things that have given rise to the need for there to be a disruption. You understand what I'm saying? So we feel like faithfulness and loyalty in life means I have to be with the same people in the same ways all the time. But that to me symbolizes death, because if there is no growth, that is death.
Mhm.
You understand?
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
stop living. And I'm not saying friendships cannot grow, but they have to grow together. That is why I look at friendships differently than others. Some people feel like a friend is a friend is a friend.
Mhm.
I kind of
Mhm.
feel like I need to be giving something and I need to be getting something. And when either of those things are not happening, then I have to recalibrate. I'm not
Yeah.
requiring you to recalibrate. That's your business. However, we have to be growing. We have to be exchanging, right? And so I think we look at relationships like I shouldn't be getting anything out of them. I shouldn't expect anything because that's exploiting someone else. But I had an ex-boyfriend tell me, like, that's the whole point. We ought to be taking advantage of people. And
Yeah.
like to use that language, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a Southern belle. We don't take advantage of people. But
No, no.
named it, and it's like, absolutely, that's the whole point. Tea is for me to consume it.
Mhm.
You understand?
Mhm.
Relationships are for me to gain value.
Yeah. That's a big thing. And that's even when I sit with myself and thinking of that and how my friendships have changed.
Mm-hmm.
I've been blessed at this point to have good friendships. I call them my soul sisters. But one of the things that I wanted to challenge myself with was experiencing more joy and
Sure.
not friendships to be so, because I could get a little heady sometimes. So not to be so heady, but knowing that I was always a good friend of a giver, right? So I'm a person that loves to give. But you mentioned also too to take advantage, right? And sometimes that's we use that word interpret it, but to that Alexis and I were speaking of is, we're givers, right? And want to support people. But how do we allow the use of God to use other folks to receive and receive in friendships. So like when we're not maybe receiving, what are some like key signs people can pick up on that their friendships are no longer serving them? What have you noticed, experienced, maybe witnessed that says, you know what, uno, dos, tres, these are the signs and you need to kind of pull back.
Sure. Um, several things. And I'll tell you, I don't mind telling my business. I tell it a
Good.
lot. And it's the only business that I have to tell. You understand? So, first, let's go back to those feelings we get that if I'm in relationships where I'm always giving, it's number one sign. And that starts with me. It's no one else's quote unquote fault that I always give. It's our nature. We love good, we love strong. But to be a giver is also to have the proclivity to always think that everybody needs something. So we become not just givers, but fixers.
Mm.
And then I take on projects because
Mm-hmm.
I like the validation of giving. I take on projects that always need to receive something, right? Givers also have a tendency not to have a space where people can see your need. They exist. You're humans. And I mean, we're human, right? So people don't see our need because we move with efficiency,
Yeah.
real high efficiency, right?
Yeah.
So other sign for me is when you did not take care of me like I took care of you, not to say that we should be reciprocating and
Okay.
50 you give and I give. It means that I have a sense of awareness or consciousness of you that I feel like relationships require that you would have some type of awareness or consciousness to where I did not always have to explain that I needed something.
Okay.
No, you don't have the capacity to love like I do or to give like I do or to blah, blah, blah. We are different.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think if you said you're my friend,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
need to pay attention. Honey, bring me some tea.
You looked at my cabinet. You know that I drink tea, and a girl is dry right
Here
now.
you
Okay,
go. Here you go.
okay.
And so what happens in friendships is that people, well, this is just relationships in general. We tend to think people are going to give to us in the same way. No, it's not about that. It's about knowing who I am and that I don't always make space. That's the third thing. Givers don't make the space to receive, which is then when it is required to go up.
Okay. Okay.
We see people in a way where they did not know to check for you because all they
Mm-hmm.
knew to do was to be the recipient of everything that you were so great at giving, so they did not know, well, let me take care of her too. They were so busy, needing what they needed. And we don't, we're not upset about that. So when we go up,
Mm-hmm.
we find people who can care for us,
Okay.
who have the high capacity, who have high efficiency of their own. Now, what I'm not saying is that the people that we're giving to are incapable, but they give it in a different way. They validate us.
Mm-hmm.
They
Okay.
receive us. That's
Yeah.
so satisfying.
Yeah. And that's a big piece that you mentioned, the awareness, right? Because sometimes we won't even have the language to say what we need,
Sure.
but to give other people, our friends, the permission to say, hey, when you see me do this, and I know sometimes that takes maturity, that takes experience, that takes a deeper level of vulnerability,
Mhm.
but to welcome people into your life. So, what have you noticed like are healthy ways or healthy signs of a friendship?
I think healthy signs of friendship are the ability to have a hard conversation. And I say I mean, hard
Mm-hmm.
conversations. Um, don't make everything a project, Kate. About
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
conversations, but every time, we sit together, people don't want everything to be a project. That's the way we think. I remember I had one friend, every time she came to my house, she came with a briefcase. I'm like, what is this briefcase?
Honey.
I know it's going to be homework. And she was happy to come with her briefcase, but it made me kind of recalibrate on what friendship looked like. But they knew we're going to be challenging each other constantly. So I do think that friendships, good, healthy friendships, they make us better, which means being willing to
Mm-hmm.
show us ourselves, and
Mm,
believe that we look at love as something that feels good all the time.
mm-hmm.
But I think that friendships show us love that does not feel good a lot of the times,
Yeah.
yet we're still rocking with each other.
Yeah.
This is a deep thing, and it is not based on good, warm, fuzzy feelings all the time.
Yeah.
Because if our friends don't tell us the hard truths, then who will, and who will we receive it from?
Mm-hmm.
Without
Mm-hmm.
having to be offended every time. People tell us truths, we get offended, but a friend should be able to tell you the truth and you can sit with it. Now, I may not be able to talk about it right now, but I'll process it. Give me some
Yeah.
tea. I'll give
Yeah.
it to you.
And that's the thing. That's the exchange, the communication. Like, okay, I know that at the base of it, you have the goodest intent for me. Right?
Sure.
I remember what one of my soul sisters, we most recently had to have a conversation. I know I was getting on her nerves because I could be a little indecisive. I was like, I don't know what I want. We was having a little quarrel, and I was like, what's wrong? She didn't want to share at that time, so I was okay. Let me give her a little bit of space. But then one of the growth points for me was, speaking a thing, right? So like some of us don't do well, and I know I'm one of those recovering, don't do well with conflict. I ain't want to, if it seems conflict, I don't want to say anything about it. But I was like, no, this is a moment to say something. And I shared with her, say, hey, as we're growing as women, as we're growing in our sisterhood, we should be able to tell each other, even if it's a small, stupidest thing, that hey, what you did bother me, or if I did something or you did something or something is on my mind, to have that vulnerability versus not saying anything. And that was a new thing for us because we had been friends for years, but this was one of the first times that we had like, oh, a moment, and it was like, oh, this is a new form of communication and evolving, right? So it was like, oh, we knew how to communicate 19, but now this looks different in our 30s and above. So,
Sure.
and sometimes we can have this whole notion like, okay, we have friendships for a very long time, no new friends. So with this whole concept of friending up and getting into the friending out person, if somebody says, hey, I want to start leaning into this idea, what do you advise them to do? Like, how do you friend up, or how do you friend out? What are like the practical steps? What is someone that can start tomorrow practicing friend up, friend out?
Mhm. So I believe that it's like they say, dress for the job that you want.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing to do, I mean, people do this dating. You want to find a man, you want to find a woman, you want to find a partner. You go and you put yourself in a space to find whomever, the type of person, the quality of person that you want, right? So I think that one very practical thing to do is to involve yourself in the type of engagements and activities that the quality of friend or the kind of friend you want would also be involved in. Um, Find, and here is going to be some critique.
Mm-hmm.
I find that as female identifying African Americans, we tend to resist a lot of sisterhood when it forces me to do something, right? We tend to reject exactly what we desire. So, for example, if I have a challenge, I want love. I want love, right? And I, instead of just being so open to that love, someone might approach me and try to give out some love. I'm like, are they on my nerves? They didn't come at me the right way. They didn't say it right, so on and so forth. So I think that we have to be conscious of these areas where we have hindrances, and not just conscious of them, but figure out why they exist and how can I work beyond them. You have to challenge yourself beyond those things so that as friendships present themselves, and I think if we're honest, friendships present themselves all the time. You be in the grocery store and somebody chit chat with you.
Yeah.
You
Next thing you know.
There you go. And so what we don't always have the ability to do is to go deeper in those places, right? So the practical step, I think, is first just being open to the need or the desire for friendship. Let's say need, because it's a need. We need free.
Mm-hmm.
So open
Yeah.
to the need, and then doing the work that I need to do constantly. I have to be intentional about this. So I'm one who travels. And if I want friends, then I need not put my headphones on the plane.
Yeah. You do need to you need to look inviting. You know.
There you go. There you go. So if I'm trying on something new, I'm doing this new thing in my life, then I need to be a new way.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the comfortability that we find in friendships is because they accept me as I am. But kind of new friends need you to be a different way. They don't know that you want.
Yeah. 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 You need to, and then you need to be able to, I think one of the other pieces too is kind of have, in essence, like ground rules. I think that was something, to talk with people. How do you show up as a friend? And if you notice that your friendships are changing and you are developing as a person, and say, hey, this is what I've learned about myself, and be able to communicate that. But Coach D, like, you've shared so much wisdom. So question to you is, what would you tell younger Coach D about friendships? What would you tell that younger part of yourself?
Man, listen, let me tell you, friendship has been something that I have been processing for a long time, in a lot of good ways, a lot of bad ways. I, I would tell myself to I don't know, I'm gonna tell you this. So I was a great person at people, yet I always crave these lifelong, long time since we were two friendships. So
That's my best friend. That's my best friend.
yes, yes. So I would tell myself, friends are everywhere. Friends are everywhere. Where I was trying to kind of pick and choose how I wanted it to look and who it needed to be. And I was really trying to give my younger self a lot of structure because I saw this ideal and I was trying to hang on to that ideal. And again, I still have those people, but at the time I was probably overlooking them, trying to meet this ideal. And so I think I would say friends are everywhere, and then kind of take advantage of what's right there. Look, just open your eyes, it's already there.
Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. All right. So, name of the service ministry that I provide is Queer on Purpose. I'm really, really, really big about purpose. So, what would be the purpose in your thought process? What is the purpose of friendships?
Friendship, and let's go back to the same. Friendship helps you be queer on
Mm,
purpose, right? Friendship us to be the best version of ourselves, right? And friendship really helps us to secure those definitions. So very often we're searching for like personal identity, individual identity. What does my name mean? What is my blood name? You know, what does that say of me? My bloodline. What is my taking on my father's name or last name or Mrs. or all of these things? I think friendship helps you answer those questions. You know, where you find your joy, where you find your safety, where you find your peace.
mhm.
Friendship helps us to define not just who we are, who we need to be, as well as who we want to be. I don't think that you get that anywhere else. Not even in parents, not career, not money. I think friends help you know who you are, who you want to be, and who you need to be.
Coach D, I know we're coming to the tail end. I can listen to you, literally. I can listen to you all day. I'm over here. I'm like, I just need to grab a blanket and just listen to you. Okay, okay. So,
Yeah, my
this is good. This is so good. And friends, we're gonna have to, wrap it up. I want to be respectful of our time. I know, it's the evening time, maybe afternoon time for some of us. But as we cut out here and we're talking about friendships, to watch this video back, send it to a friend, tag someone in this video, because it's a theme that's coming up for a lot of people, friendships. And whether if it's, you have friendships with your long-term friends, you maybe, want to revamp the whole idea of no new friends, and you may be sitting with, okay, friendships are going maybe in a different direction, and you're trying to figure out, how do I surrender those friendships, bring a new friendship? This is the conversation to have it. And as we go into the holiday season and the winter season, this is a good time to do a lot of that inner self-reflection. And we're going to be spending time with our friends and chosen family. And Coach D, I know you do a lot of traveling. So to end on a fun note, what are maybe your top three traveling, I don't want to say hacks, but what are your traveling tips to
God,
our friends? What is your traveling tips?
be there. Don't even worry about who all gonna be there. That's number one. So many of us miss out on what life is offering because we're about who all gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to what I say, you can find friends anywhere, right? So one, don't worry about who all's gonna be there. Two, find you somebody when you get there.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. And three, which is probably number one, just go. That's the hack. Just go, honey.
yeah.
Just go. Traveling teaches you so much. So just go. It changes your worldviews, but you got to see some of the world first. And that could be
Awesome. Travel. Every time I, get up with Coach D, I'm like, where are you traveling at? I love watching. She shares a lot of your content on Facebook, and now, we've connected here on Instagram. It's like, okay, where's she going? What's she doing? To be able to travel and experience the world, and tell the people, where can they find you? How can they work with you?
Yes. Listen, friends. So I'm actually at this point, I'm a travel agent because I want to invite people to travel with me and experience some of the stuff I've been doing as a single, beautiful woman. So please follow me on Traveling Evangelist. And this really is the future name of my future RV I'm going to have.
Ooh,
That's what that is.
you're gonna play rap. Get a
But
tagline on it.
yes, that's what it's going to be. Traveling evangelist, just going out, sipping tea with people and talking. But you can also follow me on the travelingevangelist.com. I've recently released some blogs where I share the details of my travels and my thoughts on them. I like blogging. I just don't take the time for it. So please just put a little comment. Hey, I was here, Coach D. Please, that'll keep me.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Coach Lee, thank you so much for spending time with us. Thank you for the shared experience with Alexis. I actually want to dedicate this live to her and the gem that she shared, that is living on beyond her physical presence, this whole concept of friending up and friending out. And I told her, thank you for sharing that with her. I think all of us is learning how to cultivate friendships. So I just want to thank you for your presence and your presence for being with us this evening. Friends, I'm going to do more of these opportunities for us to chat. So if you have questions like this, send them to my DM. I love to bring, people that are in the space, thoughts, wisdom, so that we can share. But friends, thank you all for joining. And I'm going to go ahead and post this live. And you need to share it with a friend, okay? All right. Thanks, everyone. Love you.
All right, y'all. Bye-bye.